Tate as well?
That has happened to Andrew and his brother.
They're freezing his credit card processing and bank accounts?
Payment processors have rejected him. Yep, payment processors have cancelled his accounts. Banks have cancelled their accounts with them. But these guys create new ones all the like. These guys are a resilient team. They have a whole team of guys that help get around these issues. But it's like, think about that for a second. For everyone who doesn't think this is a big deal, if they don't like your opinions, they will take your bank account away.
But I want to tell you something that's actually kind of scary about this banning. It all came so hard and so fast that I don't know if they all just follow each other. I don't know if they're all influenced by each other. I don't know if there's someone above them all. I don't know. But when they go to cancel you, ladies and gentlemen, it comes hard and fast. You lose your Facebook, then your Instagram, then your Gmail, then your Discord, then your website hosting, then your domain name, then your payment processor, then your bank. Then it's just like in real time, you're watching your phone and apps just exploding. Boom, boom, boom. It's crazy.
Yo, what is going on, everyone? I have a really important update to share with you guys. One of the reasons I'm invested with my time and money into the crypto markets because I'm a big believer and I want to see a decentralized future. I believe the centralized overlords are trying to take too much control over our lives. And anytime that happens, it's like the yin yang. There's too much centralization. Things are going to balance itself out, and more people are going to gravitate towards decentralization. So we are in a time period where the media is telling us to not pay attention to crypto and decentralization. And these are the time periods when you should be doing the opposite of the mainstream medias and be researching, educating yourself on the future decentralized economy, because I think people that stay in the centralized systems, and especially the people that have alternative thinking and the people that think outside of the box of normie society, could possibly be in trouble. Look at this narrative that's starting. And I knew this was starting back in 2020 when the world shut down. Myself and many friends had our social media accounts banned out of the blue. My Instagram account, my Twitter account, wiped, deleted for having alternative thinking, alternative thoughts to the mainstream society. My accounts were banned. And what I thought was, okay, my social media account's gone. When I go to the restaurant, I can't even get a menu anymore. I have to use a QR code scanner to get a digital menu. And the media is telling me to take in coins. There's a coin shortage and cash is dirty. I knew the writing was on the wall for a cashless society. I knew it was going to take time, but the agenda was beginning. And if they are able to delete my social media account, I knew that they could next go after my bank account. And we've seen many examples. I'm going to show you guys some examples in this video. People forgot the US President Donald Trump had his Twitter account banned. If he's not safe with the First Amendment, I don't believe any of us could really believe we're safe in anything. So shout out to everybody that's still in crypto, educating themselves on this new future economy. The media is telling us not to pay attention, and this is the exact time we should be paying attention when they're telling us to look the other direction. We got to do the opposite of the media because we know social. Look at this that Biden is talking about right here. Biden admin, I posted this a few days ago. I haven't had time to make a video. Biden admin to ban bank withdrawals. So let me show you the actual article. The U.S. may freeze bank withdrawals as currency fear rises, expert warns. An expert in economics is warning that Biden administration may be looking at ways to lock down your checking account, literally ban withdrawals from the banking system. Imagine that. Imagine if you don't comply with the centralized overlords' wishes and they literally ban you from being able to move your funds. They did that to Andrew Tate. His accounts are boom, gone. They've been doing it to people on PayPal for years. A lot of people don't remember. A lot of people in the XRP community probably, if you're new, probably forgot the story from David Schwartz. David Schwartz has a lifetime ban from PayPal. My computer is glitching. So David Schwartz has a lifetime ban for PayPal. So this has been going a long time with these centralized payment processors. So David Schwartz And I'm sure that motivated him with the XRP ledger. I'm sure that motivated him with the XRP ledger because XRP is censor resistant. It's running 24/7 and nobody could stop a payment from point A to point B. And that's why they don't want us to be paying attention to crypto, in my personal opinion, because they don't want us to have that type of power. They want us to be controlled. So this could be fear mongering. I haven't looked deep enough into it, but it's a possible narrative that could definitely happen. And this is because of issues with the money supply, is what they're saying. So I'll put these articles in there, but remember, there was about 1 million accounts back in 2020. I have the article summary here. Twitter suspends roughly 925,000 accounts for rules violation in 2020 alone. Twitter bans President Trump permanently. Were they basically just easing us into the idea like, hey, social media accounts, next thing they're going to do is go for the banks? Remember what happened when the truckers did the protest? There's always so many ads on these. So GoFundMe, $10 million shutdown of Canadian truckers show it's time to rein in big tech. So big tech controls GoFundMe and people are trying to crowdfund, and their account not only got shut down, but they didn't have access to the money they raised. And this has been happening a lot of times with PayPal. People get their accounts removed, banned from PayPal with their money in it, and it's very hard to get your money back. So these are some of the reasons why I stay motivated in decentralization, in cryptocurrency during the bear market, because I know it's for a bigger purpose. I know the future is going to be grim if people stay in the realms of the centralized overlords. Big tech are definitely them. The big banks are definitely wanting to more and more control over our lives. So I chose to opt out. I chose to become sovereign. I chose to take responsibility. I chose to research cryptocurrency, alternative banking. And I think it's a better solution because I do not want to have limits on my ability to withdraw my funds, especially in emergency time periods. And I think it's just mind-blowing the direction that we're going. And the more people that wake up, the faster we could switch to an alternative financial system that actually serves the little guy, the people, versus the big oligarchs, the centralized overlords. So this is my quick video today, guys. Hopefully you liked it. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and peace.
The question that I had for you the other day was, why are you calling this the Great Crypto Conspiracy?
Okay.
And when you explained it to me,
Yeah.
it's really, people should go to jail, but it's not illegal.
No.
And this is really horrible. And it's why we all feel so freaked out. But they are feasting on our savings. And it's an enormous robbery, quite honestly.
It's a huge transfer of wealth that's happening right now. The last time I saw something like this was back during 1994 to 1995. In the early to mid 90s, individuals were making just enormous amounts of money buying companies like Dell, AOL, Microsoft, Netscape, and some of these smaller internet stocks. And the institutions had completely missed that bull market. And so they were scoffing at these so-called lemmings. And so during 1994 to 1995, we had a bit of a bear market. And so, again, institutions were out saying that, oh, anybody buying internet stocks, you're idiotic. And so you had a lot of people selling their AOL, selling their Microsoft, selling their Dell shares. Guess who was buying? It was the institutions. If you look at a chart of institutional allocation to venture capital internet deals, it doubled between 1994 to 1995, which was exactly when institutions were saying, oh, this is just a market for idiots. Mm-hmm. Nobody should be buying this stuff. Mm-hmm. So they literally stole all this wealth that should have been in the hands of individuals that owned Dell, Microsoft, and AOL. And then from 1995 to 2000, of course, we saw $5 trillion come into the market, and the biggest bull market we've ever seen. So this blueprint of creating fear in order to get cheap prices is nothing new. So
hang on just a second before you go on.
Yeah.
This one is really important to me because the housing crisis, those banks, they bought up all of those houses. They were the ones who caused the problem.
Right.
Then they were talking everything down and saying, "I'm just taking the junk off the table."
Yeah.
That's not junk now.
It's not junk. But not when it's dropped 40 to 60%, it's not junk. So this happened between 2011, 2012. Blackstone Group buys 50,000 homes. But during this period of time, the regular individual couldn't get a mortgage, right? It was virtually impossible to get a mortgage during this time, exactly when institutions were buying. And then the dot-com crash in 2003. If you can go back and look at old CNBC clips during 2003, even as the market was starting to come up, oh, don't buy tech stocks. No, they're evil. Don't buy tech stocks. Don't buy tech stocks. But institutions, if you looked at the 10Ks, the Qs, and all of the filings, the quarterly filings, they were all loading up on tech.
This is how the rich get richer.
Yes.
They know, they're connected. A lot of times they're coordinating without the insider trading. This is not illegal to do.
No, manipulating the news cycle, if you're smart about it, is they can get away with it. Nobody's ever been arrested for anything like this.
So now, with crypto, I know personally, I know people that would have gotten in or stayed in if these people weren't saying what they're saying.
Right, and so this has really been extremely egregious. So on September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks,
people listen.
People listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
Says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, so unethical.
Right.
Okay, George Soros.
George Soros, in January 24th, price was already down, calls Bitcoin a bubble, says Bitcoin is the worst, the worst investment in the world. Don't buy Bitcoin. Don't buy Bitcoin. Basically throws gasoline on the fire at this point. And then what do we find out? So he says bubble here.
It drops 44%.
Right. And then here in April, 2 months later, guess what we find out? His $26 billion family office has approval to buy cryptocurrency.
Right. And we only knew about it publicly here. And this is the kind of thing that George Soros is famous for this, talking the sterling down. And what did he do? He stole the pensions of all the little people.
Yeah, made $1 billion.
Yeah. Okay.
So then here now, Goldman Sachs, this, again, February 7th, most cryptocurrencies will crash to zero. Now, I remember when they said this in February, and I had, through my network, I knew that Goldman Sachs was setting up a crypto trading desk. Absolutely knew they were setting up a crypto trading desk. And
I remember you telling me that.
Right. And then, of course, they were denying it. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. Price falls down 27%. And then what do we find out? We find out here, they say BTC 0. And then we find out just before May, new trading desk. Not only that, they put $400 million to buy a cryptocurrency trading platform. Okay, so February 7th, it's all going to zero. May, we just spent $400 million just on a flyer.
And they're not the only ones.
No. So you have a lot of institutions that are coming. You had Christine Lagarde from the IMF come out. And this was, what's funny about this, Glenn, is it was all around the same time. It was almost like I can't prove collusion, but, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck.
And you know what?
It's probably a duck.
The people, they all hang out together, they all think alike. It doesn't have to be calling each other.
Yeah.
They know this game.
Yes. So IMF, Christine Lagarde says in the first part of the year, says all central banks should band together against cryptocurrency. Have you ever heard her say all banks should band together against illegal arms?
No.
Or illegal drugs?
No.
Or human trafficking?
No.
No. But this nascent asset class, we must all join arms against.
What this did was play into people's heads that these guys are never going to let Bitcoin survive.
Right.
And so people thought, this is over.
Selling. Yeah.
So let me show you, can we show a chart of the 5 crashes? This is from, I think,
last year, right?
Last year,
yeah.
Okay? Do we have that chart of the 5 crashes of Bitcoin?
Right. It was 30%. Right. I think 4 of them were 30% and 1 was 40%.
And this is, here it is. Explain this chart. Those are Amazon crashes.
Okay, so these are Amazon.
Do you have Bitcoin?
Yeah, we need the Bitcoin chart.
We are.
All right, they'll come up later. Okay. Yeah. So what I want to talk about now is one of the key lessons I learned from being involved in the market so long is rather than listening to what people are saying, look at what they are doing.
Correct. So
this is what we should look at, and this is what I want people to focus on now. Billionaire hedge fund manager Stephen Cohen, who's worth between $12 to $14 billion, by far the smartest hedge fund manager in the world, I would say of the last century, is buying Bitcoin. $6,800, buying Bitcoin. Mark Lazary, Avenue Capital Group, worth about $1.7 billion, has put 1% of his net worth into Bitcoin at around this price, $7,500. Andreessen Horowitz,
Mark Andreessen.
That's right, Mark Andreessen, an early investor in Airbnb, Skype, Facebook, just launched and Coinbase just launched a $300 million fund. Wellington Capital, they have $1 trillion in assets, are starting to get involved in Bitcoin futures. Susquehanna, the 12th largest trading firm by volume, they now have their own Bitcoin custody department, their own trading department, and they're trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. Goldman Sachs, this new CEO, David Solomon, the most pro-Bitcoin / cryptocurrency guy on Wall Street. The most pro
Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs. He's the new CEO. He's coming into power shortly. BlackRock, this announcement just came out, the world's biggest asset manager. Now, last year, Larry Fink says, oh, you know what cryptocurrency and Bitcoin's good for? Money laundering and drug dealers. Right? So again, if you look at what he's saying, you're going to sell your Bitcoin, right? You're going to say, oh, this is all BS. But guess what is happening now? They're going to launch an ETF. They're looking at an exchange-traded fund that will allow anybody with a brokerage firm to make it as easy as hitting a buy button to go out and buy Bitcoin. So you've got to look at this preponderance of evidence, right? All these people are already wealthy. All these people care about their reputation. If Bitcoin is such a trashy asset, why are all these people getting involved?
This is it's really interesting because this is kind of like, in a much more positive way on this side than what these people are doing. It's kind of like with Donald Trump. You don't listen to what he says because he'll say some stuff that's like, what? Watch what he does. Because what he's doing is making sense. If you're a conservative, it's making sense. And it's moving orderly. But what he says sometimes is almost misdirection.
Yes.
That's what they're doing.
Misdirection.
Okay. Let's talk about